Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be covering the Internet Revenue Report for 2014. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Hey, good morning, Chad. Welcome to the Brown Bag. Got a lot of data to pour through here, Chad, and this is data people really like to keep tabs on. And we say that the internet is still a growth market. And today, this report from the Internet Ad Bureau and PricewaterhouseCoopers really does show some of that data, and the trends are continuing. Specifically, what we're reporting on today is the Internet Advertising Revenue Report for 2014. And what it's showing, Chad, is that U.S. spend hit a new record high at $49.5 billion in 2014. That's up from $42.8 billion in 2013. So the digital marketing advertising spend continues to grow. I don't think that's a terrific surprise to any of us. We know this is a growth market. We know the yellow pages and a lot of traditional print media are declining, and here we see digital ad spend increasing. But what gets more interesting, and as we've been predicting for many years now, Chad, is to see exactly where the growth is. Mobile and social are seeing the biggest growth. Again, not a big surprise, but confirmatory data. Been talking about it for years, saying it's coming, and indeed, mobile saw a 76% increase in dollars spent over 2013. That's a whopping change, just a massive accelerator. Social media advertising also had a 57% increase over 2013. Traditional search saw some growth, but it was only 3%. So that is flattening out. Although search is still where most of the money is spent. 38% of the money is spent, which is $18.4 billion, a very large market, is still spent there. Desktop is still very healthy, about 20% of the market share, but mobile is the third. And so, really I think the headlines here are that mobile and social, we've been saying for a long time, are coming. Here they are taking over a bigger slice of the pie. Overall, the pie is still expanding. We're in a growth market, but the way those dollars are spent is starting to shift, as has been predicted.
Yeah, Adam, and actually there was Danny Sullivan who wrote an article in the Marketing Land, actually unpacked this a little bit and said that the way the IAB actually accounted for some of the mobile revenue, if actually you had allocated that to search versus display, it would have come back that actually that growth you talked about, that 3%, would have been higher if you were just looking at search advertising. So I guess the question is, are people moving away from search engines with apps on their mobile phone to social media? And actually the 3% actually did grow a little bit more if you accounted for what happened on mobile. And in fact, actually, if you take the amount of desktop search and mobile search and add it together, it accounts for over 50% of the market share of the revenue. So if you just look at the health of search marketing, it's still very healthy. And I think that really kind of segues into what would our advice be for our typical Main Street customer that we work with, that our resellers work with. And I think really what we've seen, probably the biggest change here, especially on the advertising side of it, is some of that growth in social. And I think most of the place that people have seen effective being on the social side is really on Facebook. A couple years ago, we did a lot of Facebook experimentation. The platform really wasn't quite ready for prime time. In the last, really the last year and a half, they've added a lot of options. Facebook especially has added a lot of options that allow you to use Facebook for retargeting, to get even more granular on the way that you target people. And so for some clients and a lot of Main Street customers that deal with consumers, Facebook actually has become a much more effective place to spend your ad dollars. But again, what we often tell people is that we typically recommend going to the search advertising first. It tends to have the highest intent to convert to leads. And most small businesses are looking for those leads. They're not really as concerned about building brand and educating. But if you have maxed out your search and you're looking for ways to grow your advertising programs, social is certainly one. Two other just mentions real quick as we wind this up. One thing is that I think Twitter still is having a hard time. We just saw a report come out that there was a lot of disappointment. Twitter's not really talking about their advertiser retention. So they definitely have some issues there. We'll see what they do. They may be able to turn this around. If you remember, Facebook had some disappointing first few revenue reports, and then they really were able to turn and figure out how to use their advertising and build their advertising base. So we'll have to see what happens with Twitter. And then LinkedIn is still actually, for a lot of our clients, it does pretty well, especially when you have a very good content asset, a good linkable piece of content, it's a great way of actually spreading the word. But those are, I think, the overall state of the industry, Adam, is that it's healthy, and we look forward to helping people out with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great set of data, and it confirms our message. And we were just at a local conference, Chad, in upstate New York yesterday, physical conference with a booth, talking to folks, believe it or not, still in the print industry and trying to figure out where they can move their business to as print is drying up. Print advertising has been slowing down for years. And they were asking me this very question, and these were potential SEO resellers who could come into our community saying, well, should I jump over into digital advertising? Has the train already left the station? And I tell them it has in some regard, but you can catch it. Things move slower than people think, because look, we're still growing. We're still on the upswing of this migration, and I anticipate that will continue. So for a lot of folks still in some of these traditional advertising channels, moving over into a digital advertising channel, thinking about white labeling SEO or PPC, becoming a reseller, still I think this data confirms a very smart move to promote the longevity of their business. Well, that's our brown bag for today. We really appreciate you being here, and as always, we'd love it if you'd share our videos or subscribe, and we'll see you back real soon.